What's good, family? Welcome back to Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Jeff on this side, Chrissy on the other side, and it is time for the double recap feature Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 2, Episode 10, Love and War, the Season 2 finale. And then right after this, we going into Tommy Time, Power Book 4, Force, Season 1 premiere. Chrissy, how you feeling?
What a night of great TV. I am feeling amazing. How about you, man?
Yo, I'm feeling good. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Y'all was tapped in since 10 o'clock in the chat, ready to go, ready to talk, having a good time. Shout out to everybody watching live. Shout out to y'all listening on the podcast, OGs. And if you're watching this afterwards, love to y'all too. We getting it going. This is an action-packed finale. Lot of things going on. Wow.
I
Chris,
don't
what
even
do you
know.
well, first, of course, we're tapping into book 2 Ghost, wrapping up a dope season.
What a
Tell me
season.
what your initial thoughts were after watching the finale.
Stress, Stress. Like, they left me stressed out the whole episode. My anxiety, like, I was like, dang, should I take a Xanax? Like, my anxiety was high. I don't even have Xanax, but I'm just saying. Anxiety was real. I mean, we are watching a show about drugs. Like, come on. Anxiety was mad high. And then it left off with like stress. Like, I'm ready for the next season. So yeah, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I am literally happy with how everything went, but I want more, like, right now. Like, and that's a good thing. What about you? How do you feel?
Yeah, nah, I feel good. Like these two, watching these two episodes back to back, I get it. Yo, it was super stressful.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
super stressful, and but it was like the good kind of stress. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we were locked in. It was like an emotional roller coaster. It was anticipation for Tommy's show, wrapping
Yeah.
up this season, wondering who was gonna stay, who was gonna go, who was gonna get away, who's gonna come up. And we got enough answers. And with just enough more to keep us wanting more for the next season. So let's get right into it. You know what I mean? It's 10 o'clock. It's the official, unofficial power after show for the daily double. You know what I mean? So first off, let's get right into Ghost in three scenes which kind of foreshadowed a lot that was gonna go on in the future. First, Mecca / Dante with Monet on the boat. No doubt paid for by our hard-earned dollars.
Bruh,
Federal
and we called
dollars.
it. Didn't I call it? I said something about he's still a snitch. Like, he didn't let me down. He held it real. And let me just say, this might be my extra point for going into Raising Kanan, because I still think Symphony is a snitch as well.
I mean, well, you're 1 for 1 now.
I'm just saying. But I knew something was off with this dude. Like, he just kept giving me vibes. And once we saw last week when he went into that book, when Tariq went in and found out that he was the snitch of all snitches, like, nothing in me didn't believe that he couldn't still be a snitch. Like, you don't just stop being a snitch. You know what I mean? Like, once you a snitch, you always a snitch. Like, you can't go back on that. So yeah, that scene was really fucked up, because I mean, we're watching him try to convince Monet to have Kane kill his father. And I was like, dang, bro, like, ain't no way Monet finna go for this. But then, he uses his little suave way, I love you, Nene. I've always been about you, Nene. And it's like, bro, we get it. You love her. Calm down, But yeah, man, I couldn't believe he actually had convinced her to use Kane.
It seemed like it.
It seemed like it.
Like that. And the one thing I was thinking of in that scene was, how would you feel if people made that same argument for Zeke to kill you? Remember all the stuff going on, because you even see him, as he's trying to convince he's trying to convince Monet that Kane is the one that needs to kill Lorenzo, because it'll be less blowback on them, because they would assume Kane wanted the empire and took down his dad to do it. Although if Kane does it and then Monet and Dante all of a sudden disappear,
Right.
wouldn't that look weird? I don't know. It was just a lot of it was like a lot of weird logic he was using, but I guess he just did not want to get his hands dirty, and
And
probably
we know
part of the reason
why.
he didn't is because he's a
He's
CI,
a snitch.
he's an
But I think they
informant.
were gonna have like Kane run his organization while they were running the seas, because at the end of the day, Lorenzo and them, his side, they still need product, and he is that connect to the product. So you have Kane running the organization where, yeah, you may hate him, but you need him. You get what I'm saying? So like
Right, and that was the
one of
that
those
was the
catch 22
natural.
moments.
Right, right,
But
right.
it's still fucked up. The logic was still jacked up. Like I was still understanding that, as hard as Kane can be, like I knew that was not going to be a task that he could fulfill. Like,
Right.
and it's crazy because you watch this and you watch Kane, who is the enforcer, and you compare it to Tariq, who was kind of like, yeah, he had killed old dude who was a cop, but he didn't really, he wasn't a natural born killer. So,
Mm-hmm.
the way he went after going and killing ghosts, the regret that he still deals with, the pain that he still deals with, it doesn't matter how hard of a person you may be, killing your father is it's not an easy thing to do. So I
Right.
love that, despite the fact that Kane presents himself to be this hard macho, I can kill, I can do anything, they still showed the real side of a son to, his father.
Exactly. So and speaking of that real side, you had Dante who was going with Zeke to the hangar, giving him a card, letting him know they have that conversation where he lies for Monet again and says that she didn't have anything to do with Carrie's murder, and
Mhm.
tells Zeke, yo, we got a spot for you. There ain't nothing else left for you. If you gonna
Mhm.
come through. Yo, we're leaving at this hour, right? So
Mhm.
those were like two things that really foreshadow to what we were going to see in the future. And it seemed like it was just that decision that Zeke was grappling, and it took him throughout the course of the episode until he ultimately made the decision that he made, right? Then they cut to Tariq. Tariq
Mhm.
in bed with Effie, waking up, trying to call Lauren, trying to figure out where she is.
Yeah.
Lauren ain't answering because at this point we don't know
We
if
don't know the
Effie
fate.
actually
Right.
if he went through with it or not. He's not picking up, so he's like, all right, whatever. I gotta get to the court.
Right.
But as Effie's reassuring, yo, she's probably out of town,
Right.
left, threw her phone away. You told her that wasn't gonna go. All of this. So he blocks that out, and that's when he goes to court, meets with Sax and McLean, and finds out for the first time that Trace Weston, Braden's brother,
Mhm.
has been marked as the witness on the stand for him.
Yep.
Finds that
Very
out.
interesting.
Very
Very
interesting that he's
interesting.
like, they tell him everything, and knowing that Sax had something to do with that whole thing blowing up, and him saying, okay, we need an alibi for you so that this dude can't blow you up for when they got pricked by Ramirez and whatever. And lo and behold, they bring up Riley from season 1, that
Which
he was
was
with
his
her that
legit
whole time.
alibi. It
Right.
was his legit alibi. And, Sax trying to be like, I can't bring her into this. Her mother still doesn't talk to me. Well, then, and I love McLean telling them, like, well, then you should have thought about that before you went and brought her into it. Like, nobody forced
Exactly.
Riley into this joint. You brought her into it. And so I love that aspect of it. But at the same time, McLean shows his hand in a way that Tariq is like, by letting him know, when he's going through everything and he's talking about the fact that Kane put the badge of Ramirez in his room, and he's wondering to himself like, yo, how do you know that? You shouldn't know that information like that. So Tariq starts to kind of think in his mind, but I think we all knew Trace wasn't going to show up. Trace ain't shit, but I do love the fact that Braden does step in and do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Braden
Right.
has the wealth, he has he has stature, his name is all over this college. It's so it is what it is. He can take this fall and it won't affect him in the way that it would affect Tariq.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the other thing, going to get to Braden, going to get to Braden on the stand, taking Trace's place, right? Um, the other thing that was interesting, which is they planted a lot of minor seeds that became major gardens when Tariq, when McLean is talking about Kane's involvement, him bringing up Kane, and um what he's going to be involved in, and trying to keep him away from the situation, because once he knows Trace is there, then Kane gets a hold of it, and Tariq makes the comment, yeah, because he planted the badge in my room, and he's like, yo, how long did you know that?
Yep.
Because there was enough information that McLean shouldn't have known
No, not
where
that.
he knew, and he revealed it, right? He revealed it, and that was something that was going to be in the back of Tariq's mind going into the court, going down, finding out that Trace came up ill, and Braden gets to step in on his behalf. Now, at that point, what did you think was going to happen?
I'm always gonna ride with Braden. You know, from season one, I have always had this feeling that Braden was just gonna do the right thing for Tariq. He stepped in, despite the fact that Tariq has not been honest with him, but Tariq finally did open up to Braden, and I think in that moment, Braden realized the weight that Tariq has on his shoulders, so he knew what he had to do. I had all faith in Braden. I didn't know how he was gonna get Tariq out of it, but I knew that he wasn't about to snitch. I know
Yeah.
that's not Braden's nature. So he's going to ride for his dude. And he did what he had to do. Like, he got on that stand and he brought up something that was like one of those things that they brought into the season when, Tariq was looking to make course correct legal, right? And he's going through how he can keep course correct on the up and up, and he does go through Simon Stern Company to legitimize the company. And if you remember, he has Braden sign as the
Right.
CEO president of this
Of course,
company,
correct LLC. Yeah.
which is crazy because I forgot about that. I didn't even think about how Braden could bring that into the courtroom to
Right.
show that
Well,
Tariq is the
remember,
one that's not dealing drugs.
we brought it up earlier in the season
Yeah.
when that happened, and it was to legitimize the company so that Tariq could be an employee, so he can say that I have an income,
Yeah.
and I can take custody of Yaz. But remember, we brought it up. I remember, shout out to the chat, shout out to people when we were chiming in, and we even spoke about it, where we said, now that Braden's name is on Course Correct, if anyone makes the illicit ties between Course Correct and the drug game, then he's the one that's going to go down, because his name is the only one on the paperwork, right? Like,
Facts.
if anything, Stern's boyfriend, even if they would have subpoenaed him and had him come in because he gave the papers, all he has to say was, I was told that this was the CEO. We set it up. He signed for it. I didn't know what the business was. He don't even got to, because Tariq being there don't mean nothing if his name ain't signed on anything. He could have just been there for moral support, or just
Because like he said,
found
we're
his way
friends.
there.
He said we're
And
friends.
right. And that's how Braden flipped it, because the prosecution thought they had somebody. Braden says, I'm the one who asked Tariq to switch the room, because he was rooming with Zeke. I'm the one who asked him to switch. I know he didn't kill the professor. I'm the one that's running Course Correct. And here's the evidence. And it was a double whammy, right? Because one, the prosecution thought that they had somebody that was going to corroborate their timeline and their stance that Tariq was the murderer. Two, he brought in evidence that he was the owner of Course Correct, thus making once again the fact that the prosecution brought in evidence, that exculpatory evidence, that was not introduced prior. And she was just caught. And whether you didn't know or not, you should have known, so that they can prepare. And that's when the judge tells them, you don't got to prove motive. You could get a dismissal with prejudice, but without prejudice. But look at this jury.
Look at that jury.
Look at this
You
jury.
think you're going to convince
win?
them? I love when he said that, because she looks over there and they all like, ooh, I don't know. Ooh. It's like the drama of it all, right? It was very Tyler Perry.
Like, like reasonable doubt has been not even sprinkled. It's been flooded on.
So now
that
he can't
jury.
be tried for this because double jeopardy. So essentially, Tariq is clear. He's very much clear So it's like now he is out. Nobody, like, you can't try him for these murders. Essentially, he is in the clear. Even if again it gets brought up in something else, it doesn't matter. Tariq is clear. So
Right.
that's the crazy part of it all. And I
And
one of those. Go ahead.
even Braden screwed them over again because his lawyer got them to get an immunity deal.
Yeah,
So
so he
he's
can't be touched.
immune. So even him admitting to being the course correct CEO and pushing weight on Stansfield's campus, he can't be tried for it.
He can't be touched.
He can't
And
be
he
tried for
wasn't
it.
going to be touched anyway. Let's keep it 100. Even
Right.
if it
And,
was,
and think
they're not
about
going
all
to try
those
to wipe away with
conversations.
money.
Exactly. Think about all those conversations that Tariq has had with him throughout the season about his
Yeah.
privilege, using his
Yeah.
privilege. You want to use your privilege for good. I'm actually on trial for murder. You know, fuck that picture of your pops. Like, this is real. Like, you're not going to get touched. And he was right. Like, Braden fully used his privilege, lawyered up to his advantage, screwed the prosecution, and because of his family and because of the immunity deal, he's crystal clear. All they would
But
have
I
to
do.
do is they can't do another course correct.
No, they
But
can't do another
like, if
course
he did
correct.
it again, then they can try him for that. But yeah, so
But I
that was
did find it funny.
masterful.
Braden is so like non-touchable that even though he was dealing drugs on this campus, he didn't get kicked out of school. Like, his father pulled him out. Like, anybody else would get kicked out. Like, you'd be like you ain't coming here. You put a bad stain on the school's name. But what you gonna tell a
Exactly.
kid whose parents give you all this money every year?
Right. Their names are on buildings.
Like,
They
he ain't going
he
nowhere.
Even if Braden was in Tariq's position, they still would not have kicked him off unless he got convicted.
No.
Then it would have just been like, well, you're not going to school here anyway. So there's no reason for us to even keep you around. You know what I
It's
mean?
crazy when you think about it. Because when Braden, I thought Braden was packing up because he got kicked off. The kid was leaving just because he had to from his parents. Like,
Right.
that's a real good life to live. Like, his privilege knows no bounds.
Right. And
It
then
knows no
think
bounds.
about how he sounded. Now I'm gonna be in some cubicle at my dad's job. Like, I can't believe this. I want to be making the money with you. And Tariq is like, bro,
I'm
I'm trying
out.
to be out the game. Like, I'm not even doing that. Like, I'm not trying to do all of that. Like, I'm
But
trying
how
to be
many
out the
times did
game.
we hear Ghost say, I want out? I'm out. I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm
Right,
out. Tariq
right.
over here talking about he not like his pops, but you over here pulling the same
I
shit.
mean,
I'm out.
he got more ghosts. You know, his middle name is James.
Listen,
His
he's
middle
got
name
more in
is
him than he
James, and
realizes.
James is
Okay.
coming up. I would say the like he probably had a better way out or a cleaner way out.
I do agree with that.
Ghost did than Tariq, because all he had to do was stop.
Yeah.
All he
All
had to do
he had
was
to do is
stop.
stop.
But like Tariq, as you see, he's caught in fate's loop of being trapped
Yep.
in this game, right? So couple of interesting things about the Tariq courtroom saga. And that's another thing where he's just like his Bobs, getting caught up in some legal drama, but is able to get off on technical. Well, actually, the prosecution did it to themselves.
No,
The
they over
prosecution
and
did it to
over just kept
themselves.
pumping themselves. Like, it was bad. She was so far. She always thought, the thing about it is she always thought she was one step ahead, not even realizing like she was so many steps behind. Like, it's almost like, and what got me was even after the trial, McLean is like, we did it. And Tariq looks at him like, we? Like, I don't know if you did much, my dude. Like, my guy is the one who got me off here. Like, McLean really just had to sit back and be, the good looking man that he is.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Everybody pipe down. Okay. I know the chat is gonna
I
go
know my
nuts.
ladies
Other
agree
than
with
that,
me.
they're gonna go nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
he was
it's all
looking
right. I know
nice.
y'all saw that Essence cover, and that was
Joe
it.
did. Save to the camera roll. Make sure my husband don't hear me. You know what I mean?
She was like,
Right.
I saved it to the camera. Yeah, nah. But you know what I like? Um, I like how all the secrets, a majority of the secrets that have happened throughout the season are finally
Mhm.
come to a head. So
Yeah.
Tariq and Davis having that conversation where he's like, yo, I want a refund. Braden got me off, not you. And you were double dipping with Kane. I could get your license for that. Like, you was getting money from both of us. And that's what they
Being too
have the
damn
real talk
smart.
conversation where Davis is like, all right, the only way you're going to get that to stick is if you would both admit that both of y'all were involved in this murder. So that ain't going to happen. So I'm going to keep my money and you going to keep hustling because them Tejadas ain't going to let you out. Right.
But I like that as he's saying this, though, McLean knows. He's like, damn, this dude is good. And he looks at him and he takes a sip. He's like, my nigga. Like, I loved that part. It's like little things like that they do, little nuances. I'm like, because, he's listening to him rip all this stuff off about how he could take him down. And he's like, yo, like, I love what you spit right now. And like, if I didn't have one up on you, I would actually go with what the fuck you saying.
Exactly.
I might give you your money back.
Exactly. I mean, what do you think? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments if you're watching this after. Send us an email or get in the comments if you're listening on audio and join the conversation. Do you think that McLean did his job? Do you think he earned that money?
No. I think he makes it look good. You know what I mean? Like, he made Tariq look good. He made him look like he had an esteemed attorney, who showed up for him week after week. But the way Tariq things kept happening were because of happenstances, not because of the work that Davis was doing. Like, he wasn't going out there researching shit. Like, things were just happening. Like, the whole thing with Lauren, you know what I mean? Like, and how they got her to not take the stand. Like, little things that happened, were just happening because of Tariq's happenstances, not because he was doing his job.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say he did just enough. Like, he did the bare minimum. Look at it like this. If he did not have the relationship with Carrie that he did, maybe that whole scene with her taking the witness stand and him demolishing her doesn't happen, right? Then he's also been there for the representation part where he knows how to talk to the media and get the point across. So I'd say I don't know if they get to the Braden point without him, where he didn't make a lot of shit happen, but he was the right guy for the shit that to navigate the shit that did happen.
Yeah, because a shitty lawyer wouldn't have known what to do. You got a point there. A shitty lawyer wouldn't have known how to navigate all of those things happening. So you got a point there. And I
mean, hey, you asked for the representation, you got a dismissal. However it happened. 2 + 2 doesn't equal
was he
avocado.
Worth the $3 million? Was he worth the $3 million?
Probably
not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I'll say that. I'll say that wholeheartedly that he was not. He was not worth that 3 mil. All right. Let's go to the super chat. Shout out Dr. Scott NYC. What happened to the ring from the bag though? Tariq gave it to McLean to pawn as part of his fee.
Yep.
So he told McLean, like, yo, you could get X amount of money for it. So yeah, go fence that, right, Kimmy? He said to do that. So that's what happened to the ring. That ring long gone.
It's gone. So, and wherever it is, it's probably in his newest car or his suit. But that ring is no longer
it turned into a pair of shoes. It turned into a pair of shoes. So the other thing that we saw was, Sullivan learning the lesson about getting into a legal war with St. Patrick's, right? So that scene with her meeting Saxe at the bar after the post victory, that was really deep because, she's like shook up because she tells him, and this is where we get the confirmation that Lauren is dead. Lauren is dead, died in a car accident, right? They found her in upstate, whatever, died of a car accident. And
with a bag full of money.
She's lamenting the fact that 2 women that she got involved in the case because of the wire and got them involved have both died. Now, Saxe tried to soothe her about the suicide, but he's like, okay, maybe she wouldn't have been in that position if I didn't press. And now Lauren, she took the protection off Lauren, like I guess the day before she was murdered, right?
Yeah.
Or that she allegedly died in the accident. Well, we know what the truth was, right? So she's lamenting, she's having that conversation with Saxe. What did you think about that? Let us know in the chat too.
Oh man, so much happened there. And it's crazy because I almost forget all of the things that Sax went through in regular Power, because he's been one of those characters where yeah, he's a main character, but you don't really see him all the time in Power. We didn't see him as much as, other characters. So you almost forget all the shit that he had to endure because of Ghost and Tommy too, because they both tried to kill him with that bag over his head. So as he's telling her all of these things that he had to endure, to the point where he considered, killing James St. Patrick. And he doesn't want that same fate for her. He wants her to think about who she is going after, for her career, or what is it that you want to do? Like, do you want to have a better career, or do you want to chase somebody who you probably will never get, and could essentially ruin your career?
Right.
And I love that she tells him that essentially you choosing not to go after these bad guys is you becoming complicit, like you're almost an accomplice. And I love that she told him that, because I never thought about it in that way. And I think it actually makes Sax think, yo, me taking this job with Davis, that's what I became. I am putting a hand in keeping these bad guys free and
Right.
not really going after them. But Sax is so tainted. Like, he literally planted evidence for James to end up in a situation. So,
Right.
Sax has so much baggage, but I think he really does love Sullivan. Like, for him to just, tell her all of this, I think he truly has feelings for her and wants her to understand that you do have a choice. So it was
Right.
deep to me.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, right? He tells her straight up, almost lost my life. He didn't even go all deep and said that the guy that he framed for murder, him and his crazy best friend,
Yeah.
had me one step away from the pearly gates and decided to keep me alive just because they would have a
Mm-hmm.
mole in the US DA office, right? And
Yep.
then lets her know, yo, that's the side that he's coming from, where she says you're complicit if you walk away. He's telling her, I've seen, you gotta remember, he's seen so many people
It's
die
a lot.
messing with the St. Patrick's, going after people, and for what? They
For
walk
what?
away anyway.
For
Walk away
what?
anyway. And that was the first time he admitted out loud that
Yeah.
he went with the gun to go kill
Yeah.
Ghost and went on a suicide mission, and someone got to him before he did.
Yep.
So he admitted it, and he's trying to be that cautionary tale that cautionary tale that he doesn't want Sullivan to become.
Yeah. You
Saying,
don't
yo,
want
you
her to
can
be
still
that.
do good in this world, but if this system is showing you that all you gonna have to show for your goodness and your pursuit of the law is a grave, maybe you should reconsider. So I think I think she was right in the sense that if you're in this to do good, you need to just do good. But he
Yeah.
was also saying, like, yo, there's also levels to it. You can try to be that perfect model, that's emblematic of what truth and justice and
Right.
courage is supposed to be, or you could be alive, right?
Choose your battles. But just at the end of it all, stop fucking with the St. Patrick's. Okay? Like,
Just leave him alone,
just
bro.
leave them alone. Like, it's not going to get you anywhere except with a bunch of dead bodies. And they will never be the ones that die either. Like,
Right,
it's like, just let it go. Let it go.
right,
But,
right.
she ain't going to
Exactly.
stop. She ain't going to
So
stop.
so when Sax finds this out about Lauren,
Mhm.
he goes and talks to he speaks to McLean about it, and he speaks to Tariq. And he
Yeah.
speaks to McLean and is letting him know, like, yo, we got this girl, like, this girl is dead and did it because of us. And then they get into the whole morality of what they do.
Well, he
And
asked him, "Did you let Kane listen to the
oh, right,
voice
right,
message?" Because
right,
that's an important part of it. Like, they
right.
truly believe that it was Kane who had something to do with her going missing and dying. So, like, he asked him, he
Because he did
presses him
mention that
about
Tariq
that.
had the ankle monitor on. It didn't go
Yeah,
off, so it wasn't him.
it wasn't
For the
him.
first time, it wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't that dude. Like, he had the ankle monitor on. And so, he tells him, like, straight up, like, did you let Kane listen to this tape? Did he know? And what I love about Davis is you're never going to get him in a situation where he can't come back on you. Like he
Mm-mm.
was like, miss me with this sanctimonious bullshit. Like I don't have time for it. You are the same person who planted evidence on someone for them to be found guilty of a crime. Like stop it. Like just stop it. So I love that he put Saxe in his place. And at one point thought Saxe was just gonna walk away. Like I really truly did. As I'm watching this episode, I was like, oh, Saxe is done. Like he's not gonna work for him anymore. And it ends up being a wash. Like it's like, oh, all right, well, I guess he's still gonna be working there. You know what I mean? Like he's still
Exactly.
gonna be working there
Working
because
on that case to get McLean's brother out, Theo Rollins out, right? And then at the
yeah,
same time, you know, Sax, Sax is the type of person, he's shown to be the type of person that he's going to try to find out as much of the truth as possible so
correct.
that he knows what he needs to do next. That's
Mm-hmm,
why he goes to Tariq, and when Tariq is meeting up about Yaz and
mm-hmm.
saying that he's able to get the adoption reversed, get her back into custody because all of this was wiped out,
Right.
and Sax meets up with him. Sax meets up with him in that park or whatever have you
Mm-hmm.
to have that conversation. Sax lets him know like, yo, Lauren is dead, and sees by his reaction
He didn't know. He
he
didn't
didn't
do it.
know.
Yeah.
And then and they're having that conversation about her passing away, and that's when Tariq gets the realization that no matter what, Yaz is going to be
In
Yaz is
trouble.
going to be in trouble as long as he's out, no matter what. And I think he had a line where he said he doesn't want Yaz to end up like Raina.
And that broke my heart when he said that because we've seen little pieces of Raina since the first season. Little nuances of her, and for him to really break it down to the point where it's like, yo, I don't want my baby sister to have the same fate as my twin. Like that's really deep. No, like just knowing that you are the problem, right? Because a lot of
Mhm.
times we walk through life, we don't ever want to admit we the issue, but Tariq finally realizes in this episode that, yo, it is me. Like people around me keep dying. And I don't feel that Ghost ever really had that realization. He was so cocky and so selfish that he never took into account that he was putting people's lives in danger. Raina, like Angela, Greg, like all these people who are in his, circle, they all are suffering because of his actions. He never realized that. But now that Tariq himself has realized that, I feel that his decision making is definitely going to be different. And I know we're not talking about it yet, but we realize that towards the end of this episode, that Tariq really is a different type of dude. But to go back to when Saxe and Davis were speaking, one fact does come out as they are speaking, where he lets him know that, like, his brother, not knowing that it's his brother, but this case, he's in jail. He shouldn't be, because the evidence that came back said the person that was seen was actually, I believe they said, 4
4 inches
inches
taller.
taller.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a hint earlier in the season that maybe Davis had committed a crime and his brother took the rap for it. And now that is almost but confirmed. Like it's been confirmed in this episode that he did, like he continued on with his career and his brother took the fall for something that he did. We don't know the seriousness of the case or everything that did take place. I'm assuming they're saving that for season 3.
Right.
But we do know that the brother is in jail for him. And so
Mhm.
I love that that little tidbit came out, and it gives us that little nugget that we need as we head into season 3 later on this year.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the cliffhangers that we have about whether or not that information comes to play. Is Theo Rollins going to get out? What happens after? He's in a race against time because it looks like he has some type of terminal
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a terminal
illness.
illness.
So we don't know what it is, but he's just saying like it's not looking good. But he's all but accepted his fate. But
Yeah.
McLean wants him out. So it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast, tapping in with us for the double recap feature. Season 2 finale for Ghost, Season 1 premiere for Power, Book 2 Force. Shout out to everybody in the chat going crazy, typing up, sending all your takes, going wild. I see Dante Spears is in here from the from the great beyond and
Yeah.
whatnot, tapping in with us. Yeah, and if you're listening on the podcast, definitely thank you for vibing out with us. If you're watching this on the replay, get in the comments, we'll be in there too. So one of the effects of Tariq hearing that Lauren is dead and he's more or less gonna have control of Yaz is he was able to pull some strings, and for the first time all season we
Yeah.
see Tasha in witness protection reunited with
Beautiful.
Yaz. What did you think about that?
Beautiful. Brought a little tear to my eye. I love again that Tariq was able to realize Yaz was never going to be okay with him, but he also knew that she was only going to be okay if she had her mother. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was no family that it was going to be for Yaz. And I love that he again goes to what is White Coat's name?
Tamika.
The Tamika. I call her White Coat
Yeah,
because she
Tamika
always come
Robinson.
in to save the day. So I love that he goes to Tamika to and Sax to get this taken care of, to put Yaz with her mother. And I love that Tasha always about that life. Like somebody was a knocking and she had that gun ready to go, like she was ready.
On it.
So I did find it odd though that her officer didn't know that this was about to take place and he's telling her to grab her bag and run. Like I was like, wait a minute, how do you not know when it's other people out there? Whatever. So it was good to see Yaz with her mom. I'm glad that Tasha is safe. I'm glad that Tariq was able to put his eyes on his mom, because I do think, even though that he wasn't able to see her, I do think that it was a good, wasn't able to be with her. I think it was good that he was able to see her. I think Tariq is at the core a really good human. He's way better than James ever was. And
Mm-hmm.
so, at the end of it, when Tasha says to Tamika, don't count my son out, I think he's going to surprise you. And Tamika says he already has. Like, just him doing this, it shows you that he's making the right moves, not for himself, but for the betterment of others. And James never did that. He always thought about himself. And I think that's just another way for Tariq to distance himself from his dad, because that's the running thing for him in every season so far, is that I'm not my dad. I make better decisions. This was one of them. I was happy that he did that. I really was. What
Right.
did you think?
No, I liked it, and it just goes to show that Tamika was more or less right in the prior episode when they try to get Tariq the deal, telling them
Correct.
that maybe it's a matter of giving him another chance to be a better version of himself, because if he
Yeah.
keeps going down this path, he might be an even bigger monster than what James was.
Yeah.
But if he is able to have a fresh start, the world is his oyster, and he can get away from this drug game. He can get away from all of this negativity and stop causing it too. So I definitely like that. Like to see Yaz and Tasha reunited. And I love the look that Tasha gave the other cruiser, where
Yeah.
she kind of had an idea, because
I think she knew he was there.
Tamika kept saying that man don't exist anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Tariq doesn't exist. Like, you got to get him out of his mind. Like, I can't tell you, you got to forget about him. Y'all got to move on. It's the only way that all of y'all are going to be safe. Right. But she knew. That's why she kept saying, don't underestimate him, because she knew that he was there. Right. And so I think one, it's a great way to write Yaz off the show. Right.
Olivia? You mean Olivia?
Olivia, yes. Yeah, now it's Olivia. It's not Yaz, it's Olivia, right?
Vanessa
So
and Olivia.
Vanessa and Olivia, right? So those are Cosby Show daughter
Oh
names, and
God,
I
they
just thought about
are.
that
Wow.
loud.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But so you have them two, right? And now they're gonna be in witness protection. They're going to another location
Yeah.
because I guess since Tariq pulled up,
Yeah.
he knows where they are, so he
Right.
cannot know where they are ever. So they're gonna move them again somewhere else where they can start their new life and be protected, right? So you have
Perfect
that.
way to
So
write
now,
them off.
right,
Yeah.
that's the way. that's a way to write them off while still having them around where, you know, they can pop in from time to time. So that was an excellent thing. And two, it is now making Tariq's life 100% about him and his goal to get out of Stansfield, graduate, get that inheritance, and be completely done with the game, right? So now you're putting more of the responsibility on Tariq, and now with Lauren gone, now with Yaz in witness protection, right now the only person he has that he really cares about to rely on is the one person who killed someone he cared for, which continues to be that power cycle, that cycle of betrayal, death, and friendship, and relationships where you're dealing with somebody who you love but has done something foul to you and you don't know yet.
I wouldn't write Yaz completely off because they did show her suitcase with that stuffed animal on it that Tariq put the burner in. So I don't know if maybe
That's right.
that stuffed
He
animal
did
was
get the
definitely
burner
on top
back
of
in.
her. So I'm wondering if at some point that might come into play. But that stuffed animal was definitely on top of the suitcase when they rolled it in there. So just wanted to put that little tidbit out there. I wouldn't count her out just yet, but we may never see her face until she's 16 coming down some steps. So
like, and that's 2 seasons when she becomes 16. Because
yeah.
you know
she gets how they move.
Aged.
She definitely
like,
gets and Tasha will still be the same age.
Right. Right, exactly. Because black don't crack. Power After Hours. One other thing that I thought that was ill in the conversation, because Saxe was with Tariq, and Saxe had asked Tariq had asked Saxe about Dante Spears. And he told him, yeah, he's a big informant. We were able to bag Lobos and the Jimenez because of his information, because of his CI ways, and we may not have been able to build a case against your father without his help.
Yep.
So, you know, Tariq is like, yeah, this is something that I figured. So now you legit have everybody working against each other in secret. You have everybody working against each other in secret, trying to plot on one another, double crosses, triple cross. Like it's nuts right now, right? So we gonna get into the whole plot to whether Mecca or Renzo, who they wanted to get off. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see some new people in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Hit the thumbs up button if you love it. Like the video right now. Hit the like button. If y'all on Power Twitter, if y'all on Power Social, send the link out. Send the YouTube link out to the people and have them join. This is the after show. No, we don't care what anybody else doing. This is our after show. This is the Power After Hours community. We live, we direct, and we giving you all the goodness for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2 finale. Let's get to this plan. So, of course, you know, when Tariq is talking to McLean, he tells him, like, you know, once I get my sister back, we're done. So now, in essence, they're probably done now. He doesn't really need McLean anymore because Yaz is in protection. But McLean was quick to tell him. McLean was quick to tell him that you'll never be done with the Tejadas. And at that moment, Monet hits him because, of course, Monet needs him because, you know, I think Tariq is probably Monet's most trusted confidant.
Absolutely.
Like, he's the one who gives her the real. He tells her stuff on a need to know basis, and when he reveals why you need to know, it's facts, right?
And he never does not do what you put when you task him with something. He don't never not do what you task him with.
That's
like
a fact.
He's reliable as fuck. And the thing about Tariq is he's loyal to a fault. Like, he will ride with you until he realizes that you crossed him. Like, he really is loyal. So he's never not done what Monet has asked of him. You know what I mean? Like, so I do believe that she really does trust him more than, say, a Kane. And she knows more about him. Like, she knows what he's really done. She knows the life that he lived before this shit. Kane doesn't seem to believe the shit that he thinks Tariq is just some preppy dude who's in a nice college and lives this lavish life. But he doesn't know the story behind who Tariq is. She
Right.
does. And I think
Right.
that's why she does believe in him so much, is because she knows that he killed his father. And if you can do that, ain't nothing else that you can't fuck to do. Like, what else can you
Right.
not do?
Right. So that's even when like when she's talking to Kane and trying to convince him to kill Lorenzo. And you could see, here's the thing about Kane, right? Kane ain't really built like that. Kane is built
No.
for a lot of things. He ain't really built like that. And it isn't until she tells him that Tariq killed his pops. And he's like, wait, that pussy little nigga killed his pops? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. He has a Tariq complex. He's jealous of Tariq. He doesn't understand why Tariq is in this
For
boss
what?
position. Had no clue who his real family was. Just thought he was a preppy black kid
Yeah.
who was trying to make side money. He didn't
Yeah.
know that he actually comes from the life. And I don't even know if he thinks it's that deep. As
I
deep.
don't
He
think he
just knows that
does.
he killed his father. He don't even know the half.
He
He
don't
don't
know
know
what went
about
into
the
that.
trials with Kanan. He don't know about Jukebox. He don't know
Raina.
about
He don't know
Raina
none of that
and Ray
shit.
Ray. He don't know about none of the stuff that Tariq has been through. But he does know that Tariq killed his pops, so I gotta be about it too. And then on the other end, Mecca's trying to get him to do it by promising to be the number 2, right? He's like, yo,
Right.
you gonna be the number 2. You gonna run all of this while I'm away, right? So mind you, you see how the plan changed from all the kids leaving to Cade staying there to run the organization, right? But
Yeah.
that was all part of um that was
Dante's
all part
plan.
of the well, actually part of Monet's plan, because Monet
Right.
overhears the plan, and then puts the part where she says, yo, I spoke with Lorenzo. Drew and Diana ain't trying to leave with us, so we just gotta kill him. So that was how she was furthering the ruse to have Kane believe, like, yo, you really gotta take him out, right? So when they talk, Tariq tells Monet, yo, I'm down for it. Tells Monet that he's a snitch, tells him that he's down, but just says, yo, I'm trying to get out the game. I want to be done. He owes me 2 mil. Once I get the 2 mil, we can do whatever. We could do whatever to him, but I just needed 2 mil so I could get out the game. And Monet agrees. But as we see, it wasn't that simple, right? It wasn't that simple, because what they had to do, they had to coordinate the plan to keep the bag that came uh Mecca's bag in
That they
different
stole. Yeah.
locations, split up his men so that they're all chasing the MacGuffin that was Fugazi, right? They're
Right.
all chasing that, and then they would be able to get the drop on Mecca. Tariq Tariq talks to Drew. That was also a dope scene. Tariq
Yep.
talks to Drew. They're breaking up the plan. He lets him know what it is, and also lets him know, yeah, I know that
I
y'all
know
took
you took my
those
shit.
drugs. I know y'all took those tricks, because him and Braden figured it out when he was when they were talking about getting the coke. They just need to get the drugs back from Course Correct and try to flip it again. And Braden says,
Well,
"Yo, it's gone."
did, who took our shit? Did you
Like,
take it
right.
out? Like, he was like,
Because he
did you
said,
take it
"Yo,
out?
was my code used?" He said, "Yeah, last 2 times." It's like, "Oh,
Goddamn
Diana, they
Diana.
took it." And he even says
Diana in
he
our
don't care.
mouth.
He don't care, because I mean, technically,
He's
those
out,
weren't
so it doesn't
his.
matter. Those
He's
weren't his
out.
anyway.
He's out, and technically, those weren't his. Those were supposed to go to the
Yep.
Tejadas. Those were supposed to
Yep.
go to Lorenzo. So technically, those were not his drugs. So either way, he was out the game, and they were ready to set this plan into motion to get Mecca out of the paint. So what
The
did you think?
plan.
What did you think about the scene where, just what you thought about that overall, and then the scene with Tariq, those scenes with Tariq and Kane going at each other?
First of all, I love that the plan hinged on Kane knowing no part of it, other than the fact that he had to kill his father. That was my favorite part. It was we keep Kane in the dark, because if he knows, it's gonna blow the whole shit. So I love that he knew no part of it except that he had to kill his dad. And I love that. What bothers me about Kane is he's essentially in a competition with himself. Like, Tariq ain't competing with you, my dude. Tariq thinks nothing about you. You are so pressed about what he be doing, and that's what I love most about Tariq. He's like, you so worried about me and what I'm doing that you don't execute the shit you supposed to be doing. Like, get your shit together. Like, it's blows my mind how much Kane is interested in Tariq's beings and doings, because Tariq don't give two shits. So that part of it I loved. And I think that the way they decided to execute the plan was genius. Diana, though, Tariq tells Drew, make sure Diana does not look in the bag. We don't need her to know anything. We just need her to carry the fucking bag. Like, that's it. And they tell each person what they need to do. And, they weren't willing to believe that Monet could actually be on their side. And Lorenzo buys in. He's like, listen, family first. Like, he fully, he believes in Monet enough to know that she's actually going to do what she says she's going to do. Like, I don't think he ever believed that she was going to, back on him and actually kill him instead of, Dante. So, once she finds out the fact that he's a snitch and things of that nature, and she's wondering, like, Tariq, why the fuck are you still alive? Like, all of this about him, and he decided to keep you alive. And he tells her everything about why he's alive, like how he hid the bag. And so the plan executed perfectly, I thought. What fucked it up was Drew deciding to go look and see Everett. Like, bro, what is you doing? This is the thing. Like, we need Everett dead. And I'm willing to start a petition for the power beings that be. Like, I'm tired of Everett. Everett is Drew's, he's kryptonite. He can't get it right. Like, you are supposed to be doing things this way. Drew, Everett tells you, we got to meet up. Something ain't right. And you go and you run at the first sight. You couldn't meet with him after.
Wasted his time.
You couldn't meet with him after. Like, what the fuck? To the point where Drew almost blows this whole shit. Like, he literally almost fucks it up because he decides to go to the school. And, what makes me happy is that once Kane does find out the plan, Kane is not able to fully go through with killing his father. The moment he put that gun up, you could see the sweat that was about to fall off his face. Like, you could just feel it. There was no way he was going to pull that trigger. So I love that, everything went as planned, and he does have time to go in and save Drew, because Lord knows if he hadn't have been there, Drew would have fucked this shit up. Like, I'm tired of Drew and Everett.
If y'all tired of Drew and Everett, make some noise in the chat. Put some ones in the chat if y'all tired of Drew and Everett and they stressing you out. Listen, Kane may have some internal issues, some jealousy at Tariq. I don't think he was that wrong about saying Drew wasn't ready, because this man, his loose end almost got him killed, right? Not to mention, because you see how Tariq and Kane, how they're able to operate, even with all the tension, even with Tariq light pressing him about Lauren. Like, yo, you know Lauren, right? You know my girl. Like, he's like, I thought you wasn't dating anymore. I thought you was dating Neffy, and yo, she fine. He's like, yo, keep your eyes to yourself, nigga.
Right.
Like, yo,
watch your eyes.
Tariq be so annoyed, yo. Like, him and Monet are two top most like playing annoyed people. Like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like,
that's why they get along.
Like the GOAT.
That's why they get along.
Like the GOAT to that, right? Yeah, exactly. Because if Tariq and Monet would have a podcast. Tariq and Monet would have a podcast about why shit just annoys them day in and day out. That's the wave that Monet and Tariq are on right now. That's what I feel like they would have, right? Annoying. But you see, even with all of that tension, right?
Yeah.
They roll in. Kane is about to shoot. Like, he's hesitant, but then he stops him like, yo, nah, don't do it. And then breaks down the whole plan. You was only supposed to think you were supposed to do it. And they know we're here.
Yeah.
So that's when he was like, yo, go get the bag. And then they kind of tip him off, and then they start getting busy, right? And then once they know that the bag is empty, and the soldiers that they sent were actually Mecca soldiers to keep tabs. Those guys went in, they got active, they were able to go. And then
but Lorenzo fucked it up.
I mean,
God damn it.
We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that too. So that was the first part. They cleared out that one. Then Drew was supposed to, I'm not even sure what I think Drew was supposed to either lure them to the warehouse or to another location, not to go over there by Everett. But then they go and they get caught out there. And of course, Kane and Tariq get there just in time.
Just in time.
To
No,
save
Kane
his
was by
ass.
himself. Kane was by himself.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was like, yeah, I know where he is. Because
Yeah.
Tariq had to go with the bag. Tariq had to go with the bag to go
To Monet.
to Monet, right? So Kane saves his brother. And I remember even from the preview, when we saw that the tussle when he was about to shoot, we didn't know who that was on the floor. He could have been Tariq, could have been anyone, but he stopped him because it was in broad daylight. Like he finally showed some restraint, showing that it was in broad daylight and we gotta get the hell out of here. So
it wasn't. No, it was nighttime. It was just the fact that they were at the school and there was cameras everywhere.
Yes. It was nighttime. What I mean is, in a heavy populated area where he should not be shooting people, he does that. So they do that, and they keep they know
break.
that relax, just relax.
God damn, y'all,
right?
you couldn't wait.
Maybe you
seconds.
need some water after that Essence cover. But maybe you sounded like you was a bit parched. All right, yeah, there you go. And yes, you need all the pluses that Essentia is giving you, or whatever that is. All the pluses. You need Essentia plus. No plus, no, not too many pluses. All right.
I don't have no shame in my shit.
On my Agua skills.
Whatever.
Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast, where the thirsty get their thirst quenched. Amen. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Throw up them likes if you love what you see. Thank you, everyone listening and watching on the afterwards. We talking right now. Book 2 Ghost Season 2 finale. Oof. We getting there. We getting to the points. You know what I'm saying? The 2 parts executed. Diana was able to get the bag. We talking about this damn bag. Not a Birkin. Not a Birkin.
It ain't a Birkin.
We're talking about duffels. All right.
Yo.
I love the scene with Lorenzo and Diana where he comes home. Because mind you, they were done. Their parts were done. And Diana's there.
But was Lorenzo's part done? Was it done? No,
he was done.
Because that fucking phone. Who was supposed to answer the phone? Who was supposed to reply to the text? Who?
What are you talking about?
Dude's phone that tipped off Mecca to let him know that his cover was blown. His phone. Was somebody supposed to text and say, yeah, it's taken care of? Like, who or was he like,
when he was texting, right? Yeah,
he took the phone, but he didn't. You couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know what he did with the phone. He didn't do it, but I'm just saying. Either way, he was done for the night, right? And Diana,
big ass mouth.
Diana, you know she looked in that bag, and I love the scene.
Big mouth.
I love the scene because Lorenzo asked her, so what you see in the bag? And she goes on this whole thing about why everybody think I'm the snitch in the family. Y'all coming to me for all the information. Y'all coming to me for all the information that I'm not supposed to be telling. And you know what? He was a dad there. He really dadded her because he was like, yo, I know you smart. You steps ahead of everybody. So I know you're going to do whatever to protect the family. It's not but what you saw in the bag, though. No, Diana, the reason why everybody knows you snitch because you be snitching.
Because you can't hold water. Snitch. I cannot stand her character. You understand? Out of all the characters on this show, right after Zeke's little baby tantrums is Diana. She irks the shit out of me. And I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that's annoyed by Diana, because I was able to see on the Twitters that everyone can't stand her ass. Her character is annoying. I don't know when she gonna die, but when she do, I'm gonna have a celebration. Just saying.
Yeah, listen. She let him know. And here's the thing. She said, I only looked in a little bit of the bag and I saw bank records for everybody except for you. How about you look in the entire bag? You look in the entire bag, right?
Get all the fucking information before you make a deduction.
Listen, and shout out to the chat. I see them saying Diana's the new Tariq. That's a take. That might be a great take. That right now, Diana is power book 1 Tariq right now. With
you
the
remember
way
when you had a diary? Anybody who's ever had a sister, all the ladies in the chat, right? if you ever have a sister, you ever had a diary and you hide the little key so that your other sister don't see the shit? Diana is the sister who will find that fucking key and read your diary and tell your mama and daddy. And then you get in trouble for her snitch ass mouth. Diana is a snitch. All
She
right?
big snitching. She big snitching. And her
Tired of her.
snitching, let's talk about it. Her snitching cost Zeke his life.
It cost Zeke his goddamn. What did Zeke do? What did he do? Tell me what he did.
All Zeke did, mind you, Zeke was grappling with what to do, what he was going to do, because his career is over. He pretty much is on his own. He wanted to start off by himself. He was trying his best to find out whether or not Monet was lying on him. Goes to Whitman, asks him, what, who killed Carrie, like what it is. And he's like, yo, it was a suicide. He's like, okay. Then they comes back. He gets called back in for them to show the camera photos of Monet leaving. Covers for Monet, saying that she went to go pick him up, and then he decided to go to Carrie's house instead, and then found him. So he backdoor Carrie's. So him being at that hangar to get on the plane meant that after all of it, he finally accepted him for who he was and did his math and said, you know what? I'm going to get on this plane. I'm going to fly out with my family and call it a day.
Or was he going to kill her? Or was he going to kill her? We don't know. Zeke might have been ready to go.
Oh, that is kind of true. That is kind of true, because he was marching towards the plane like he was furious. So it might have been either he accepted it or he was going to do something about it. And Lorenzo pulls up thinking that it's Mecca. And funny enough, Zeke has the hoodie on, so he can't see that it is. And he shoots at a dude who thinks it's Mecca, and then it ends up being Zeke. Now, that's also on Lorenzo, because he could not stand that Monet was going to be the one to take out Mecca, because he had to do it. He's the one that has to protect the family. But the plan was not set up that way. The plan was going to execute perfectly. But because he thought that there was a double cross in play and Monet was going to dip and they were going to try to kill him, he was going to do it first. And it ended up costing Zeke his life.
But he looks and he sees, and he even says no passenger. So he knew what no passenger in the goddamn car. So what was he thinking? That Monet let him live? And what? Like, what was you thinking? Maybe he wasn't thinking. That's the problem. But I know Zeke emotional ass was finna go confront Monet. He wasn't about to go just be living on the waters.
Auntie Mommy, Auntie Mommy, why you killed Carrie, Auntie Mommy?
He said, I called my auntie, and, I wanted my auntie to come get me, and then I changed my mind, and, auntie. He says a name every 5 seconds because he don't know how to deal with stress. Zeke ain't built for this life. We all knew that. Zeke is not built for the life that they live. I think anybody could see that. But Diana is the reason that he's dead. His death is on her hands.
That's on Diana's
head. And she's going to know that something happened when Papi left the house after she told this information. So she's going to know, Papi's going to know, and something tells me Monet knows too, because she asked, where the fuck have you been when he walked in the house late? So Papi got a lot of explaining to do. Okay? It's finna be a telenovela for the ages in season 3. Papi got a story to tell.
Poder. Poder. El libro 2. Fantasma.
Yes. With the Tejadas. Yes. Yes. I'm right there, front and center. My ass finna have some popcorn. I'm gonna be watching because he got a story to tell, and it's gonna be very interesting when we find out that. But again, we didn't see nobody. We didn't see nobody. Just like with Lauren, we didn't see her body.
Saying that Lauren is dead, and I mean, we didn't see her body, but it's pretty much been confirmed across that she's gone, right? And I told y'all, Power After Hours, your favorite Power podcast. This might be one of the GOAT novellas with the Tejadas. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Mecca's last stand. So Mecca sees Tariq pull up. He's ready to kill him because remember he had already agreed with Kane that Tariq needs to be eliminated.
And
right?
he made a call before Tariq.
And
He made a
he
call
made a
before
call.
what you're saying. Before he made a
No,
call.
no, I'm saying earlier in the episode when he was trying to get Kane to take the his spot, they were talking about getting
Yeah,
Tariq
yeah, yeah,
out
yeah,
the
yeah,
paint.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I mean. But
yeah.
when he's having the conversation with Monet, he makes that call and lets him know, like, hey, I think my cover's been compromised. So he's
Well,
getting ready to go.
I think you are. He made that call before he had the talk with Monet. It was
Yeah, that's what I'm
before.
saying in the
Yeah, he
within the
goes,
with
yeah,
that
he
that scene.
calls
Yeah.
the cover first, which I find very interesting. So I know a lot of people were saying, like, why is it that he didn't, when we say he didn't want to get his hands dirty in terms of killing Lorenzo, we don't know what his mission was. There may be
Right.
a very distinct reason as to why he could not get his hands in killing Lorenzo, why he could not kill Kane earlier in the season, because Kane was owed a bullet by him a few times with all the shit that he pulled. So we don't know what his mission was. We don't know who he was watching. It could have been Lorenzo, but I think he was definitely there for a reason, which is why I don't think he could kill Poppy. Like, he had to get somebody else to do it, and the person was Kane. So yeah, just very interesting. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
and as my guy, Dr. Scott, thank you again, Dr. Scott, for the super chat. Poppy was sloppy. Poppy was
Listen,
sloppy,
and when he
and
made
that's
that
what
call, I
led
said, "Who
to
he calling? Who
yeah,
is
that's what led to Zeke's murder. But Tariq is coming up the elevator. Mecca's ready to pop him as soon as the elevator opens, and that's when Monet pulls out and tells him, like, it's all over. I know the plan. Did you think that he was gonna kill her after he killed Tariq? I saw some
Mm.
talk like that they thought that uh he might turn on her too.
And just
So she
leave with
was kind of
Zeke?
like, because at this point he has to know, if he knew that Kane stole the drugs, he has to know that Lorenzo taking the drugs was a lie too.
I
He
don't
has to know
think that
that.
he can kill Monet, because I think that his mission was to look at the Tejadas, to look at that organization and be the snitch for that. I don't know that he could have killed Monet, but I do know that Tariq was fair game. Tariq was fair game in that situation. So yeah, I don't know what. I don't think he would kill Monet though. I mean, he did love his Nene. I think that he had the ring. He was gonna propose to sis. So I think that
Mm.
his plan was to have Monet and Zeke at the very bare minimum and leave and start a new life. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. But unfortunately, he can't because Monet
He
put a
said
bullet in his head.
he's dead.
Monet put a bullet in that man's head. That man Mecca
He
dead.
dead, dead.
He
Oh, he's
dead. You
dead,
dead,
dead.
Mecca. You dead, Mecca. So what did you think? And y'all let us know in the chat. Super chat it up, and we'll get you on the screen. What did you think about Mecca's character? He's probably the most prominent character of the season that passed. What did you think about his character?
I feel like they killed him too soon. I don't know. I feel like he could have been a pivotal character for longer, but I do feel like they didn't know what else to do with his character at that point. Like at the point that Monet knows that you are Dante, there's not much more left. But I did like his character. I think he brought a good almost ghost-esque, where no one knew who he was. He was operating in smoke. You know what I mean? So I just feel like more could have been done with the snitch side of who he was, especially now knowing who his connect was and who he was a CI for. I felt that more could have been done. But I am surprised that I'm surprised that he was able to be elusive for so long. I actually am. But I
Yeah,
liked his character.
I liked him as a character too. I think he was solid for this season. He had many bridges built between Power and Ghost, building it
Mm-hmm.
up with him. I like the way the writers used the previous lore with Power to
Yeah.
bring in a character where you don't even have to get too deep and make a connection. You
Mm-hmm.
can just allude to stuff that Power fans already saw. And if you didn't watch Power, then you knew you still got the sense, like, oh, this was a guy that was involved with a lot of the stuff that Tariq's pops was dealing with. So I think he was cool. I think he brought like a great he brought a level of uncertainty that we like as power fans, where
Yeah.
you don't know what his ultimate goal was. I think him being Zeke's pops was one of the best swerves and plot twists that we ain't see coming with him. I thought that was dope. Yeah, I think it was a good character, kind of like the Milans of the world that show up
Yeah.
for a season, and do I think that they could have um carried him over for a little bit of the third season and then maybe kill him off? Yeah, but I think his story was told within the season, and of course it's gonna be a bridge to the future one. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he was great. Um
I think his story's not done. I think the work that
okay.
he did in this season is going to carry over into the next season
Right,
through who his contact
right,
was. I don't know if
right,
you're ready to
right.
bring that into the light,
No, I
but
mean, yeah, we could go through. I think before we're just talking about like some of the depths that we saw. I know all of the I know meme culture is sad that Zeke is out of here, because boy, them Zeke memes was hitting. We gonna need somebody new for the Zeke memes, because them Zeke
Zeke,
memes, boy, were hitting.
I think his character was done. You know, what
Yeah,
more was
two
there to
seasons.
him? Yeah, like there's no more that Zeke can do. He's not built for this life, and there's only so much that we can carry him with after knowing now that his career's not going anywhere and he's not in school. So there was only so much they could do with him, and I think it was just the perfect time to write him off. I hate he had to go like that, but I
Yeah,
do
it's
think the
sad.
repercussions of his death will live on in this next season because Diana's got to go.
Right, right, right.
Because when the
100%.
Monet finds out that it was
So
her mouth that did this,
yeah. So
Monet gonna have a field day.
the other thing is with Lauren. I like Lauren's character too.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of relieved that we didn't see, if she is gone, that we didn't see her get killed on screen, because I
Why
know
is
that,
that?
huh?
Why is that?
I mean, it's you're supposed to be a young girl in college and then getting bodied like that. I don't know if I don't know if I was ready to see, because I mean, even when like Holly got killed in OG
Oh my
Power,
God,
that
that
was
was
just really
crucial.
distressing. So I
It
wasn't ready.
was.
Like it was a very emotional scene. I wasn't ready.
I
But
agree.
here's the thing: we still ain't see her.
We
Like
didn't see her.
I saw some people talking about we didn't get an RIP post for her. Maybe it comes out tomorrow or
I
whatever.
don't
'Cause I
know
remember
that she's dead.
the last time we talked about, there was no RIP post. The next day on social, people was tagging me in the one for Carrie. So as if you see feet dangling and don't think that
I
she.
mean, she was dead. I mean, I don't know what people
But yeah,
would
but
get from
if
that.
it ain't
But
like, how
there's
could it
no.
not be Lauren? If they're saying that it's Lauren,
But
how
it
could it not
also
be
could.
Lauren?
It could also be a
Like
cover up. I
Tommy,
don't.
like Tommy, where they did the tooth shit. Like I don't know. Like there would be no reason for. I think they'll expand.
We just need
They'll
more on it.
expand on
I
it.
need more
So
on it. I need
yeah,
more
yeah,
on
yeah.
it. I don't know what they could do with her, but I do know that that whole scene in Tariq's dream, where he was seeing everyone that was deceased, and he blocked her from coming in
Right,
by
right.
telling
That was
her,
show foreshadowing,
yeah, I
perhaps.
do believe that was foreshadowing. So I mean, I don't know. There's not much more they can do with her character either, other than blow Effie up and tell that information.
Well, she
Um,
could have been the tie to get Kane, right? Because Kane is still around. Because I mean,
absolutely.
we can even talk about it. We can even talk about it right now. Power After Hours, your favorite Power podcast. You already know the vibes. Season 2 finale, episode 10, Love and War. Power Book 2 Ghosts. The cliffhangers that we had at the end of this episode and how we left. Right. First, Blanca
Blanca
Rodriguez is
back.
back. I mean, all right.
Eh.
But Blanca's back. She's the DEA. She was Mecca's connect. Mecca was her CI,
Mhm.
right? And she saw, first of all, saying that it was a grainy photo and
That
casting
shit
Tariq
wasn't
damn
grainy
near
at
intending.
all.
I will give them 1080p. Maybe that's not 4K, but I will at least give them 1080p. It was
I'm like,
nothing grainy about
was it
that picture,
supposed to be
okay?
like his body far back? Like that shit was clear as day. Like you can tell it's Tariq. Like I need them to do better with that. When you say a picture is grainy, make it grainy. Make
Right.
it
I was like,
something that we can't believe.
ain't nothing
Like
grainy about that picture, fam. But now she's on the case, and with her ties to everything going on with power. Yeah, facts. Seven at best, it
at
might have been
best,
720,
Rob.
but it
At
was
best.
definitely not grainy, right? Like you could, if you knew who that was, you could see him, right?
And
So
to the point
so
where
now
even
we got
she's like,
Blanca
"Oh, we
in
meet
there.
again." Like,
Yeah,
come on.
right.
I'm glad Blanca's back. Her character was her voice irritates me. I think I stated that in previous
Many
power.
times, many times.
Don't do
You were
that.
relentless about it.
No, I
You
will.
were
You know you full of shit. Hey, if you've been here with us
You
for a
forget
long
we have
time,
this on. You
hey,
forgot we record these, right?
Roz has been here for a minute. She's one of the OGs. If you let me know, Roz, was I relentless
Roz,
about
be
Blanca's voice?
real. Roz, be real about it when you hear this, when you catch up in the future with this. Be real about this. But yeah, I'm all right. So she's back.
She back.
She gives the connect another connection to the first season of Power as someone who has dealt with the St. Patrick's, who is going to be asking questions, because just because Tariq's there doesn't mean anything. But then here's the other question: would they have caught Monet in there?
That's the
Like, would
other
they have run
thing.
the whole thing? But they have Tariq, of course. So
They
that
have
just
to
shows that Tariq is gonna be under federal stress again, once again, for season 3.
Oh my God, if he
Um,
cannot get away from his legal issues,
I
it's like,
mean, we
but at
need him to
this
stay in
point,
trouble so we can get more seasons.
let's just take a gander here. At this point, at best, so Tariq doesn't have the money for Mecca, right? He doesn't get the 2 mil.
No.
What is stopping him from just staying in school, getting a regular job? Like, I get it, we need more seasons, but what is it that he has to be in the game for at this point?
Here's the issue now. I don't know if Lorenzo would want to work with him again if he is trying to sell again, right? We don't know if he wants to work with him at all. I think now he pretty much could stay away and just do his thing, right? But now he may have, he may or may not have an enemy in the Tejada still. You know, Kane is a loose cannon. So to your point, he may just be facing more charges, and they're gonna have to find a way to have him have to stay in the drug game, right? I think his school is paid for because of Ghost, so he don't
Yeah.
got to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about a job because of
Oh,
Yaz.
Zeke doesn't play.
Course correct.
Oh, I
Course
forgot
correct
about
is,
that.
hold on. Course
I
correct is
forgot.
burned. Course
Yeah.
correct. Course correct is burned. So that's what that is. So now,
I forgot about the fact that he needs Zeke. I did forget. Like the only reason he's even there is because of Zeke. Like he has to tutor Zeke. So if Zeke is not there, essentially, does Tariq even have? Can he even stay?
well, I think that was part of the deal to get him back in, right? Like that was what Simon Stern set up, I
Right.
believe, that he had to tutor. So now, so that's another cliffhanger, right? That's another cliffhanger. How is he going to stay in school? Is he gonna have to pay? Is he gonna have to pay his own? Because I mean, they can't just they can't kick him out of school because of someone else is legit got kicked out. Because you gotta think about it. We didn't really hear anything about it when Zeke dropped out of school. They just didn't put it in the script or whatever, or maybe it
Right.
was a deleted scene. But that's a question. How is he still going to stay in school? Maybe he does have to pay his way now, and or maybe his Waller, his trust fund lawyer, maybe there's another clause that Ghost wrote from the grave that says that he gets to pay for his school, because at least I
Mm.
thought that's what was happening. That's why, because he wasn't paying for it out of pocket.
And
So
he has to pass the canonical studies class, right?
well, he has to now that he's in there. He
It's like,
worked to
but
get into that he
who's
has worked to
teaching
get back
that
in there.
class? Who the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
is teaching the class? Who?
yeah, then that's another one with the cliffhanger, right? They need another teacher because Reynolds is gone, Reynolds is dead, Carrie Milgram's dead, and Tate, his plan paid off,
Yeah.
and now he's pretty much all in with that congressional seat. He's in with that congressional seat. I love how he got his brother to. He said he's gonna give his brother a job on the detail. And his brother don't want to fuck with him, but he's like, I don't hear you saying no.
No, you
I'm
ain't
gonna
saying
pay
no.
you
He's
back.
like,
He owes his brother. He owes his brother a whole lot. So that's another cliffhanger that we're gonna watch is how does that build? Because what I'm thinking now is Tate will be a part of the show until they're fully ready to kick off his spinoff.
influence. Okay.
Because all reports say that there is still plans for his
Mm.
spinoff to go down. So they haven't kicked it out. Like it's still gonna be there. But I think he's probably gonna be on the show until his
But
congressional
doing
win
what?
and it writes him off. This whole thing with the DEA. There might be another deal that he has to make with Tariq to get him out,
Or
or
maybe
we
he
just
stays
might have him as
teaching.
a side. There it
He
is.
might stay teaching.
He might stay teaching the course until he officially gets the congressional seat, right? So that he
Mhm.
might get that, then leave to do his run, and then going on, right? So that's
Listen,
another cliffhanger. Another
listen, I
one.
agree with you,
Mo-
Jay, by the way. I wouldn't want to teach that class either. Okay. Everybody that teaches that class is in a grave. So
right,
I
right.
wouldn't want to be the one to teach that shit. Tell you that right now.
So another cliffhanger. Monet doesn't know Lorenzo killed Zeke. How does that because that's gonna eventually come to light. And when it does, what happens? Does Monet kill him? Does Monet go ballistic? Like what happens?
Kill
That's
Diana
another.
first. Kill
No,
Diana first. If
you're
you're gonna
funny.
kill somebody for Zeke's death, kill Diana. He would have never left that house if it wasn't for her big ass mouth.
I think he might have left anyway.
No,
He
no,
wanted to
no,
kill.
no,
He wanted to kill
no.
me. That was enough of a battery in his back to go.
No. I don't
I
I
think
don't think
he was.
so.
You talking about Mr. Machismo? You talking
I
about
don't
Mr.
think so.
Machismo? Like, yeah, I don't know. I
I
think he
think
might
it's
have been
all
out of there.
Diana's mouth. No, I don't think he was going. Because if that's the case, why come home anyway? Why come home at
Y'all
all?
y'all let us know in the chat whether or not you think Lorenzo would have went after Mecca anyway. I say yes.
Then why come
Kristen says
home?
no. So we'll
To
leave
get
it
a
at that. Let's get to
sandwich?
the rest of these. Let's get to the rest of these cliffhangers. We got a whole other show to talk about. But
Okay, Jay.
y'all argue in the chat and you let us know who's wrong.
Oh.
Um Sax is about to be an informant again. Again. This man, at this point in this series, after how many years, he has written his fate at
When
this
he
point.
sees
Because
Blanca,
now
though,
he wants to take Kane. He wants to take Kane down or whoever was involved in Laura. Now all of a sudden, that was his come to Jesus moment. He's found peace. He wants truth. He wants justice. He's going after it again, knowing everything. She convinced him. She convinced him to come on her side. So I think he's
well,
looking to bag Kane and McLean because he thinks McLean let Kane hear the tape. So now he's trying to
one of
take
them is
both
gonna
of them
die.
down.
One of them is gonna die. Either it's gonna be Sax or it's gonna be his little fuck buddy. One of them is going to die because
Yeah,
they know too much and they're doing too much.
yeah.
Sax has had one foot in the grave for about 4 years now. It wouldn't surprise me if he's one of the ones to go next season. I
All
mean that.
right. So next, yeah, we said Tariq has to stay in the game because he didn't get the 2 M's from Mecca. Tariq
Yeah.
doesn't know Effie killed Lauren, so that's another cliffhanger. What's going to happen with that? How does that information get out? How does that
I
turn?
think she's coming to
Um,
Stansfield. That's what I think. They
eh,
planted that little
oh
bug at
yeah,
the end
yeah,
of it too.
yeah. She ain't trying to travel from New Haven to the
Mm-hmm.
city over and
Mm-hmm.
over. She ain't trying to make that 2 hour ride anymore. So she may enroll in Stansfield now. We'll see that. Braden
And how
leaving
did she
school.
get back? How did she get back to Stansfield after wrecking the car with Lauren? That's another thing I want to know. How did she make it back so fast? Because she made it back that night before he woke up in the morning. So
It might have been late at night.
yeah,
It
but
might have
what
been
car
later at
did
night.
she get back with?
We don't know. I don't.
That's what
That's a
I'm
cliffhanger.
saying.
That's a cliffhanger. But she
Something
did
ain't
come
right.
back late at night. It wasn't like she showed up the next morning. So maybe she had another person with her. Maybe she hopped on the bus. We don't know. We don't know. That then there you go.
Another
There's
cliffhanger.
another that's another cliffhanger. Braden, what's Braden's story next season? Are we gonna see him in a corporate setting, try to get back on the streets? Bro, I'm telling you, That's gonna be
Poor
hilarious.
Braden. Poor
Um,
Braden.
and we talked about McLean trying to get his brother out, and Sax is involved in that.
Hmm.
So they saying she took a Uber. Y'all stupid. Um,
Y'all really?
yeah, she called the Lyft and got back in time. That Lyft probably cost her $300. They probably
$300.
surged. She probably caught the power murder surge. She
Nah,
probably
she
had a
probably
murder
took some
surge
of that
rate.
money out that bag. You
I
fucking
bet
kidding
she
me?
did.
They said it was a
Probably
bad.
handed it
They
to
she took
homeboy.
that bag. Yeah,
Probably
she took
handed
some.
it to homeboy in straight cash. Like, listen, that's what it
Get
is.
me back.
Yeah, and McLean, trying to get his brother Theo out. He obviously was the one who did the murder and whatnot. And now that Sax is going to be involved in that case, getting her out, maybe Sax finds some information to bag McLean on it, and he has to force him to do anything. We'll see. We'll see. So there's a lot of information that we have, a lot of cliffhangers that's left for this season, a lot to bring people back, who they're introducing in season 3. I think that one of the ones that I heard was Zeke's mom,
Yeah.
or Zeke's adopted mom is supposed to be
Mhm.
introduced into this season, because of
Monet's
course she's gonna have to
sister,
know
right? It's
Monet's
Monet's
sister, right?
sister. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's somebody that's supposed to be introduced, and then yeah, as the year goes on, we probably will hear more about like season 3 announcements. But overall, what did you think about the season?
Great season. I loved it. I feel like every episode had me on the edge of my seat, and then it also left me wanting more, as did this season finale. So I overall loved it. I love what they're doing with the characters. I think that they are letting characters go when it's time, rather than carrying it on and on, like who shot Ghost, who killed Ghost type shit. Don't nobody want that no more. So I love that they're just getting to it, and doing what they need to do with each character. I just love this show, real honestly. They're not doing nothing wrong for me. Yeah, there's a lot of cliffhangers, but honestly, like, I want that. I'm ready. Like, I'm gonna be ready when that next season comes to watch it, because of how they handled this finale. So overall, A for me for this season.
Yeah, I like the season 2. I think I like this season better than season 1. I think it was more cohesive. The storylines flowed together a little better. I think season 1, they were finding their way out of book 1. It was almost
Yep.
like book 1.5, and this season was season 2, where the characters kind of had to stay on their own with little sprinkles from the past. And I think you're going to continue to get that. I think a lot of the complaints that fans of Power have had. I mean, with anything, if you're going to nitpick, you can nitpick any type of show, any type of movie. I don't think there was anything glaring. I think if you can find stuff. You can always find
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? You could always find stuff, but I enjoyed the season. That's for me.
Agreed.
I'm not looking for this to be some type of cinematic masterpiece. I
Telenovela.
want to right. I'm not looking for Oscar bait or Emmy bait. I'm just looking
Yeah.
for a entertaining show based off of a world that we love. So
Yep.
I enjoy it. I'm excited for season 3. I know y'all are excited for season 3 too. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun. So
Y'all want Two
I'm
Bit
hyped.
so bad. The people in the comments, y'all love Two Bit. If nothing else, y'all will keep Two Bit's memory alive. I don't know if Two Bit is somebody they don't ever plan on bringing back, but y'all will keep his memory alive, and you will make sure that even if they don't think about Two Bit, that you do. Goddamn,
They
every
flying
week.
the 2-bit flag right now.
Yeah,
Like they're
where
flying the
is Two
2-bit
Bit?
flag.
Two Bit, that's the missing piece. Y'all leave Two Bit alone. That
The
man
missing piece
probably
to what?
Two
The
Bit
missing
is
piece to
busy.
what? All right.
He busy. Y'all leave that man alone. Stop bringing him up every week. Or
So
Two Bit.
that man probably on auditions right now. Like let that man have peace. Yeah, so
Jeez.
that's it. That's our talk. That's our talk for our recap of Power Book 2 Ghost season 2,
Whew.
episode 10, the finale.
Good
I
season.
think it's another season on the way, but they're probably gonna come out in the fall, just like they did last time, like
Yeah.
probably like October, November. So we're good with
School.
that. and
It's
we're and
cool.
we're and we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good until then because we got what we're talking about right now. It's time for us to get into Power Book 4 Force, the
Ooh.
season 1. The season 1 premiere series,
Mm-mm.
excuse me, the
Mm-mm.
series premiere of Force. We are ready. This is
Tommy,
the one. This is the one. This is the one that y'all been waiting for. This one that
most
a lot of people.
anticipated.
So this has to be this has to be out of all of the books. You
Yeah.
remember after Power ended and they dropped all of the books.
Yeah.
This was the most anticipated one. So this is episode 1. Title of episode 1. Let me pull it up for you. So I don't know why I don't know why I can't remember the title, but
I don't know, but all I know is
let's
that
get the
Tommy is
title.
that dude. That's what
Tommy
I
back.
know.
A short yes, his GOAT quote, a short fuse and a long memory. That is power. That was Power Book 4 Force, season 1, episode 1. One of the if there was ever a line in one sentence to summarize a character's whole ethos,
Yeah.
it's that. Short
Yeah.
fuse and a long memory. Book 4 Force. This is the one that was so anticipated.
Yep.
This was actually supposed to be book 5. This was
Before
supposed to be the last one.
Power even ended, original Power ended, people were excited about Tommy having his own show. Like I don't know if there's ever been a character that people will let just ride for the way they do for Tommy in terms of the Power universe. Like people wanted him to have his own show and he got it. And I am
Right.
excited. I've been excited about it since the Power episode that he had when he rode off into the sunset,
Right.
which I
Going
thought
to
should
going
have
to
been the
LA.
finale. Yeah, we
Listen, what I remember, like let's be real. When they split it, and when they made the last season of Power 15 episodes, I thought it was going to be spectacular only because I've heard Courtney Kemp and the writers discuss how
yeah.
they've always wanted more episodes of more time to deal with so they
Ugh,
didn't have to rush
don't
storylines and
do
all
it.
that.
If
So
it
I
ain't
said,
broke, don't
okay,
fix
you
it.
got 15, you got 15 episodes. We're gonna see you stretch this out. But in essence, this series was over after 10, and
You
then the
shot
next 5
goes.
episodes was set up for the next 5 books, which I
That's
thought was
it.
like whatever. Real talk,
The
real
Tommy
talk
episode,
that
hands
that
down.
that those last 5 episodes could have been maybe one more episode.
If
Maybe one more
that.
episode. Like real talk, the Tommy episode with elements from the other 4, like I I ain't gonna lie, because I think that one
He,
dropped
yeah.
before the last
Hmm.
one. It might have been
Yeah.
it was either the
It was
third
like
one
I think it was
or the
a
fourth
three
one.
before.
Yeah.
It was like a
I
three
think
before.
they might have did that episode, then the Blanca episode,
Yeah. Which
then
was
the
a waste of
it
motherfucking
was a waste
time.
of time, a
We
big
should
waste of
have
time.
known her
That
ass was coming
episode,
back. We should have known.
then the Blanca episode, and then the last episode where they basically tied up a whole bunch of
Waste.
storylines and set up for the future, right? But when you
Waste.
watched that Tommy episode of Force, you watched that, you were good with the
I
series.
was
Like the
good.
way they ended it, that was the way they would have ended it. This one was actually supposed to be book 5. And I think the fan anticipation made them say, "Yo, Lorenz, you gonna have to
You gonna
bat
have to
fifth.
wait.
We gotta push Tommy up." Low key, I think if they would have been able to create the show quicker, we might
Yeah.
have been talking about Kanan for
Yeah.
book 4. If
I
they were
agree.
able to get it up quicker,
But I think they've
to
done it the
ramp
right
up
way.
quicker with creating the show. But
I do think they've
I'm
done it the
glad
right
that they
way.
took their time, especially because Raising Kanan is fire.
So fucking
Um,
good. Such a good
and
timepiece show.
Rob B shouted it out. You mean the Paz episode? That's a we definitely be. I'm definitely mixed Blanca and
Oh
Paz.
my
Definitely
God. That
missing
episode was
Blanca and
so
Paz, right?
terrible.
So yeah, Paz's episode. You are 100% right. It was the Paz episode. It's a lot of fucking power to remember.
If you go
It
back
was
to
the
our
Paz.
podcast from that time, those
Huh?
episodes, if
Oh
you go
God.
back and listen to them, we were so disgusted with each episode after that Tommy episode. Like, there honestly was no point in us even like going over the episodes.
I like I like the Rotimi Dre episode. Like I like that. I didn't think
That
it
was
needed to be an
early
hour.
though. That
I
was
don't think I don't.
early.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think that that episode
Oh, it
needed
didn't
to
need an hour
be a whole hour. I think what happened in that episode could have went into the Tommy episode. I don't think they needed the pause episode at all.
at
I think they could have just
all.
put different parts into it and made that final thing, right?
It could have.
But
They
like
should have.
that
If it
that should have
ain't
been
broke,
that should have
don't
been the
fix it.
finale. Now we're here, book 4
Yeah.
talking about Tommy's show. Give me your initial impressions.
Theme song fire. 50 doesn't miss with these theme songs. All right. They are perfection. I think I saw somebody on Twitter, I think it might have been actually you, Jeff, say that they had to make the theme song for Force very nice and
Oh
easy and
yeah, yeah,
calm
yeah.
to
Because
combat the nature
we
of
needed the
Tommy.
contrast.
Oh my God. But just let's just say 50 does a goddamn good job with these theme songs. It was perfect. But
Right.
I love that it opens up. You know, I think with each one of these new shows, we're going to get those montages into who they were or what they did in these past shows. I love that they opened it up with all the things that have almost created the Tommy that we see today, all of the death, all of the pain, you know, from Holly, like we talked about that earlier. They showed that when, you know, he had to kill Holly, when he put Tariq over the edge and essentially told Tariq he was dead to him, no longer his, you know, Uncle Tommy. Raina, I didn't even think they would put Raina in that montage, but we saw Raina. And then Keisha and Cash. Like that's always gonna break me because I just always hate that Cash just got left behind in that whole situation in the storybook ending that Tommy actually wanted for himself. But yeah, I loved the opening and having him go through that, and you see his tears starting to well up more with each one playing to the point where it makes him scream, and it's almost like you see something click in his eyes. He's such a good actor that like he doesn't have to say anything. It's something that he does with his face where you can read that emotion and understand where he's going with it. Joseph Sikora is like just a class act in that opening scene. I loved it because it brought a little sense of the OG power into the character that we are now going to see in Force. So I love that opening. What did you think?
No, I thought it was cool. It definitely gave old school power vibes. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
power vibes with a whole new world to explore. That's the thing I like about this whole concept of the power universe. I know people made the jokes about 50 trying to start a drug dealing MCU, right? But the thing about this world is you have characters within this whole world that can interact with each other, a past and a present, right?
Mhm.
And you can just take the concepts that make power fire and put it into any city and just have people operate. All you just need is connection from a previous point. And I think Tommy's was that, you know. This episode, I like this episode because I can see where they're going with it.
Yeah, the
Right.
vision.
The thing about pilots, as folks will know, great shows will get way better from what the pilot is. So if you get a
Yeah.
solid pilot, you should be hopeful about what's to come in the future, because a lot of this is world building, character
Character
introduction,
building.
and making something and making a major moment happen that can draw you in to watch next week and build upon. I think where they did it right was they let Tommy be Tommy.
Yeah, he was
They let
himself.
Tommy be Tommy in this world while introducing us to all the characters that are gonna have a hand in this show. Like you think about it, and you know this is gonna be a recap that's going to, you know, it may not be linear, it may be all over the place, but we're going over the concept and the themes that you're gonna incorporate that they've incorporated into the show and that you're going to see,
Right.
right? So like this thing with Tommy, already he shows that he's a different type of dude in
Yeah.
this city. It's
Yeah.
almost as if Tommy is playing New Game Plus of
Yeah.
Power, and he has all of his experience points, all of his skills that he learned from beating the game the first time, and now this is like one
Bringing
big
it in.
side
Yeah.
quest. This is one big side quest. You see it when he rolls up to his grandmother's house, and somebody's holding a parking spot with like a broom, and he knocks it over, and homeboy's like, yo, you gotta pay the fee, and shows him a knife, and he just starts laughing like, all right.
For real?
Throws him the gun, smacks him in the head, and tells him to go about his way before
Come
finding out
on.
that his grandmother is not at living at the house and not dead, but she's in a home
Convalescent
and
home.
looked
Like,
like that she's
yeah.
suffering from like some type of like dementia
Dementia.
or
It's
whatever have
dementia.
you,
It's
or
got to
Alzheimer's,
be.
whatever, where
Yeah.
she remember them, but not really, right?
It was very
So
short. It was short
right, it's
lived.
very short, but you could tell, right? He was on, and remember, they're continuing the story from what we saw in that last episode of Power. He's on his way to the West Coast. He found a
It's,
new person that he was
it's
working with.
supposed to
And the
be.
whole time, homeboy is calling his phone, like, yo, when you gonna be here? When you gonna be here? Like, you working for me, blah, blah, blah. You know, remember, Tommy from from Power was done with taking orders,
Yeah,
but
he
he
wanted
wanted
to
to
be his
start
own
his
man.
own life, do his own thing, and he was going out to the West Coast. So this Chicago stop was just supposed to be a pit stop
Stop.
to go see his grandmother that he ain't seen in a while and get out. But dudes in this town don't know. You cross Tommy, he's short fuse, long memory. He can't give it up. He just
But
can't give
what
it
I
up.
love is it's the small things, right? Like we watched Tommy. I think we even brought this up at one point in OG Power Podcast, how he could park wherever the fuck he wanted to. Like New York, the fact that he always had a parking spot wherever he went in New York, always, I would
Day,
always be
night.
so, how could he possibly always get the same spot everywhere he went? I never got that shit. And to now come to a new city and be like, what the fuck is up with people and parking here? Like, I don't understand.
This man had 2 parking issues within the span of like 5 hours, where this man, Tommy, could park anywhere in Manhattan. Anywhere.
It was just
Lower East
crazy.
Side, Upper West Side, Harlem. It didn't matter. He wasn't paying and he was parking. And then he's getting pressed out to move by one of the major players that we're going to see in the series, Vic Flynn, part of the Flynn crime family, is like big Irish crime bosses. And they soon realize that you talking to this dude is a different type of dude. And their Uncle Paulie realizes that.
Yep.
He realizes that. And when he comes out and he's like civil, he's like, yo, the done with the kid stuff. He's like, my boss wants us to go. So I'd ask if you could just, move up, whatever. He's like, yo, you see, this how you talk to
That's how
me.
you
I
talk to
also love the
people.
fact that homeboy said this Boston motherfucker is fucking with us. And he's like, Boston?
Boston. Like, who thinks I'm from like my accent reads Boston to you? And then the audacity of him to be like, fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Larry Bird. Like, nigga, what is your problem? Like, it's
He was
just like
really on the
he was
anti-Boston wave. And
hot.
if it's one thing that we learned, you don't say shit about Larry Bird to Tommy.
No.
Don't say
He's
shit
a
to Larry
fucking
Bird about Tommy.
legend. He is
He's
a
a legend.
legend. My God.
He might break your arm over a Larry Legend, yo.
Never seen him get so upset about something so simple. Like Tommy is just,
Yes,
he
you
is.
have.
Yeah, I have.
You
He
watched all the
did.
Power. Short fuse, long memory. Larry Bird is probably the most passionate thing he's been about that he got violated for.
Yeah, like he was upset about that shit. Like real talk. Like, I mean, it was like parking, Larry Bird, and like someone telling him he had to leave a place that he didn't want to leave. Like Tommy is just like, I am my own man. I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. I took orders from Ghost for 6 seasons and I'm done. So like Tommy wants to be his own dude. And, throughout this episode, you just see little things that bring the Tommy out of him, right? Like, putting your hands on a woman, or like things like that. Like it's always going to set Tommy off. And what I love about him is that he just handled it. Like he didn't show he was upset in a bar. Like he waits till the dude goes outside and he takes care of business. Like Tommy is just about that life, and you're never going to put him in a situation that he can't get out of. He always
Exactly.
finds a way out.
And he always, and of course, Tommy's gonna find the one bar in Chicago that serves pepper pot soup, because of course it's Tommy. Of course it's Tommy.
And the side
and
of
of course,
bartender.
I guess pepper pot is something different in New York as it is in Chicago, because this man, if it's what, like, I feel like this episode was. This is the most fan service you're gonna get from Power. It's like, what do we love about Tommy? Tommy is chaos. He is chaotic. He is chaotic good, right? He's like chaotic good with a sprinkle of chaotic evil. He's gonna go. He's gonna beat people up. He's gonna kill people. He's gonna have sex.
He's gonna give good sex.
To shake up a world. He is going to disrupt whatever you have going on, right? And you even see it. You even see it where when he just says, I can't let stuff go. And it's funny because the uncle saw it.
Yeah.
Even when Vic came back out after they collecting the money. So they're running rackets across, like the security racket, I guess, and collecting protection money. And he sees him. He's like, yo, it's not worth it, man. He's like, yo, if you're leaving, get out of here as soon as possible. You don't want to, you just don't want to mess with this family. You don't want to mess with this family. I'm telling you, you look like a dude. I like you because it's funny. He liked him because of the way he carried himself and the restraint that he showed.
When he said restraint, I was like, who?
Like, you really don't know this man.
I said, who? And I think I even tweeted that shit out. Restraint and Tommy don't go well together. I don't know who you think you thought you knew, but it ain't that one. And
homeboy Simon that got his arm broke. No, there ain't no restraint in Tommy Egan.
He learned that day.
He learned that 100%. And then Tommy saw that there was a deal going down. So if it's one thing Tommy knows about is deals with the connect and the drops and the money. And he goes and he pulls up off it. Like it looked like they were dealing with the Jason Bourne of the drug game.
It was
the way he just pulled up, shot 2 shots at him. It was like the next ones are going into your head, brings him down to the connect spot, and he's able to pull his guard. Tommy showed them all, dudes that didn't even know him, that there were levels. Like these dudes were getting set up and didn't even know it.
Like, we run big shit in New York. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing here, but let me show you how it's supposed to be done. And him just knowing and calling them out like, oh, this is your first drug. Like, talking to them like they're children.
And they were getting set up. That's the craziest thing. By a couple of cokeheads. They were getting set up. Like, dudes are sniffing, doesn't know, cracking jokes. Then he's criticized. Yo, he looked like he was teaching masterclass in drug transactions.
Yeah.
He's criticizing Vic. He's like, yo, you came to the drop light?
Light.
He's like, you got the money, most of it. So you came light. And then Jannard Sampson, the younger brother of Diamond Sampson, who we're gonna get to, he's like, yo, you gotta be kidding me. So he's like, yo, you dudes haven't been here before.
Yeah.
Ends up smoking them, taking the money, charging them a fee for saving their life. Like, and if you look at it from Jannard's perspective, he's like, this white guy that we've never saw before.
Never seen.
What they call him? Casper the motherfucking ghost, right?
And they use that name like a couple of times on his ass. And I'm like, oh, so that's gonna be his nickname. I see. It's finna be Casper.
Funny that he's ghost to them now. Oh, he's ghost to them now, right?
Come on, Jeff. I didn't even catch that meta.
Laser eyes.
Meta us to death over here. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
He takes the drug, takes the money. So to that side, he's there. It's just ill. So even just talking about like the different characters that we meet, right? Let's go. Let's take a step back. So Gloria, she's the bartender running her own bar. Has you could tell that she's no nonsense. That's the first thing, that she's seen the game, and that's just what she wants to be. Has a
relationship with Vic.
Right. Has had a formal relationship, some type of situationship with Vic. Had a husband who was in the Marines who didn't come back, which doesn't mean, when she said he didn't come back, I don't know if that means that he died out there as a Marine. Well, she has his dog tag, so I'm assuming that
Died.
he died in combat or whatever the case may be. So, what did you think about her character?
I don't know. At one point, I thought maybe she was lying about the husband that died, and I thought maybe she was actually married to Vic and just didn't want to say it. I don't know. I think that relationship is deeper than we think. Like she knows a lot about the family, which means she's been in. You know what I mean? Like she knows stuff. So I like her character though. I think that she's gonna be good for Tommy because she seems to be somebody a lot like him who just doesn't take any bullshit,
Right.
and can hold her own, which is something that Tommy needs. I just, I love that Tommy doesn't want to like her and likes her anyway. Like when you see him kind of throw away that paper with her number on it and go back into the trash and get it. Like I kind of just like their
Well, that
dynamic together.
wasn't her number.
Whose
That
number
wasn't
was
her
that?
number. That was JP, who is Tommy's black brother.
Oh, you're right. I don't know why I thought that was her number. My
Nah,
bad. Okay.
well, you probably shocked me as people are still writing down numbers on papers and giving it to each other. But yeah, that
And
was
the
probably the biggest
555 thing.
revelation. Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
classic.
the
But that was
hugest
probably the biggest
revelation.
revelation. The biggest
But
revelation that we
we
got
know
in this
Kate.
episode was that
Kate ain't shit.
Tommy has a black like a for real black brother, not just ghost, a for real black blood brother from his mom. So apparently his mom had a relationship
Kate ain't
with
shit.
with JP's dad, had him and then left and then had Tommy. So they figured that out because Tommy goes to visit the grandmother, leaves, and homeboy rolls back like, what do you look? What business you have with Miriam Egan? I'm the only one who's come to see him in 6 years. I'm a grandson. I'm the grandson. And then he pulls out the picture with the saying, the Irish saying on the back. Look that up. It's Bralum too, which means I love you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In I believe in Irish, right? And homeboy JP had it tatted on his arm. Had it
Crazy.
tatted on his arm. So I loved when he's pressing him with a gun and he's telling him like I'm a grandson, and he does that. And then the next scene is just Tommy Lane standing with them both standing on his car, and Tommy just like, it's gonna take me a
Because
minute to process this.
essentially he knows his mom ain't shit. Like we know Kate ain't shit. So I don't even think of the thought of this guy lying to him even was it didn't even cross his mind because he knows his mom wasn't shit. And what gets me is that Kate spent so much time taking care of Ghost and saying that Ghost was like a son to her, and you got your own black ass son over here in Chicago and you ain't
Not
taking
your
care of
own
him.
black ass son.
I'm just saying.
Not your
Like
own black ass
Kate,
son.
Kate loved Ghost. Ghost was her favorite. Ghost left her ass money for Christ's sakes. And you mean to tell me that you had a black son over here in Chicago that you wasn't taking care of?
Yeah,
Come
that
on
means
now.
we probably gonna see Kate again because we need
Oh,
some
I
answers.
hate
I need to
Kate.
figure.
Kate is
Yeah,
crazy.
and so does Tommy. And Tommy
God,
tells him that you not missing nothing. I love
you
how
ain't missing shit.
he was like Catherine. He was like, she ain't a part of the royal family. Her name is Kate, and
And
she
he
ain't worth
said,
what she
you
is
got the
either.
better end of this deal because you got to grow up with your dad and not
Right.
Kate.
Because
Kate ain't
imagine him telling
shit.
them like, yeah, I didn't know my dad until years later when I found out he was the leader, one of the leaders of an Italian a crime wave, and I had to kill
Yep.
him for snitching. So
Yep.
I think you came up on this thing of life, this parent lottery. You hit the
Yep.
jackpot. I crapped out, right? So then we're introduced to the rest of the Flynns. Walter Flynn, who is the head, and
I
Claudia
love
Flynn,
him.
the daughter, also known as Claude, right? What did you think? What did you think about the father and son dynamic?
First of all, I love Walter. If you ever watch Sons of Anarchy, you just love him. He's like the greatest. So when I knew he was going to be in the show, I got super excited just to see his
Tommy
face again in
Flanagan.
TV. Oh, I just love him so much. So yeah, I love the conversation that he actually has with his daughter. In the beginning where she's saying that she wants to go in and help Vic, and he's telling her like, "Yo, look at your hands. Like you know nothing about these streets. Like, the street life is the different life. You are built to be in these little cute little outfits and covering our numbers and making sure that we look clean. Like, so
Right.
I actually like that conversation because she seems hell bent on wanting to be out in the street. And I think that's going to be a dynamic that we're going to end up seeing, is her wanting to do more and her brother and her father not really letting her, which could end up turning into her rebelling in some way. So I like their family. I think they bring an interesting dynamic where they're flawed and there is room for Tommy to create like havoc
Mhm.
between each person and the dad. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. I just like it. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's an interesting dynamic to watch, right? I do think it's a common theme with the daughters, like the women in power and involved in families who want more opportunity and more control, and the
Yeah.
fathers aren't willing to give it, right? So like you think about Diana with the Tejadas. You even think about someone like Jukebox, right? Who does her own thing, but isn't even really trying to be up in the mix because of that. Then
Mhm.
you got Claude now, who wants to be a part of the game. So their ambition might cause some other things to shake a certain way, but she has a lot of control because she's actually taking the role that Tasha took to launder the money through truth, through
Right.
the accounting. So she's
Right.
doing kind of the same thing. So that's ill to watch. And of course, once again, another reason why this had old school power vibes was we had like 5 straight minutes of like nudity, sex scenes,
Hey, it was a lot of sex.
her doing lines off of another woman and using the black light to see what it
Yeah.
is. Tommy going off. Like I was like, damn, this is like season 1, episode 1, soft core,
Yeah, it was a
soft
lot.
core type stuff's going
Titties
on.
everywhere. I mean,
All
it
of
was a
that,
lot.
all of that. And I saw somebody say it in the chat. Yeah, with JP and Tommy, I thought at first that they were cousins, because if you're somebody, your cousin's grandmother is your grandmother too, right? If they come from the same family or whatever, so you could be cousins
Oh,
too. Like at first I was like, oh, you got a black cousin? That's crazy. Like the old grandmother must have had like another husband, whatever. No, so when he said brother, I was like, I started doing the genetic math, the biological math. I was like,
okay.
oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was something that I definitely saw too. Then you have Diamond, Diamond Sampson, who was looked like he was incarcerated for 15 years, came out,
Yeah.
was the barber in jail, which is an esteemed position of trust
It's
in
such
in
trust.
the slot, right? So he was
Such
in jail,
trust.
so he's coming out. He started the Chicago Brothers, that CBI crew, who was Jannard, his little brother, who was one of the people that was in the drug deal. So he started the CBI crew with his brother. Brother held it down while he went away. Now he's
Mhm.
back, got his barbershop back, which his brother bought for him. So now he's one of these guys that they're imploring him to go on the straight and narrow and don't come back in. But you can see that there's probably going to be some conflict with how
He
his
wants to
brother's
run
running it
things.
versus him being
Mhm.
on the straight and narrow. Although he's made the Batman vow not to kill anybody anymore. Um,
He was ready to
you can
slice
see
and
that.
dice, though.
Right.
He was ready to use a tool if he had to.
Yeah,
Talking
yeah,
about you
yeah,
want to
for sure.
kill nobody,
Yeah,
but
for sure. I mean, self-defense is different.
uh,
Self-defense is a little different, right? But what'd you think about his character?
I was very interested in his character. I do get the sense that I don't know if there was an issue with him and someone else in jail, but they definitely are going to order a hit on him based on what they said. That they weren't going to do it, let him get comfortable and then they'll order the hit. So I'm not sure what drama went down in jail or if it's just because of who he is. But yeah, it's not looking good for young Diamond. But I like his character. I want to see what he's going to bring to the table. I do think that him and his brother, and that he wants to run it all holistic like, and the brother is like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. They're gonna clash a lot, and I think
For
again
sure.
that's where Tommy can come in and create some chaos where he can be reigning supreme at the end of the day,
Right.
because there's issues everywhere.
Right. Yeah, I
But
do
yeah,
see like another, like this brother theme is gonna go
it's like
throughout the
BMI, not
season.
BMI. That's
BMF.
right. But yeah, I'm so
BMI, was
tired,
you working
y'all.
out? You about to work out in the morning? You talking about BMI.
I'm so
That's the you
damn
focus. You
I'm so
focus.
tired. Y'all know
You
I be in
hilarious.
bed at 10 o'clock. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry.
All right, Nano, relax. So, so yeah, we out here. It's like so you can rest your eyes. That's what you're gonna start saying. You have to
Whatever.
rest your eyes.
I drink
Um,
espresso. I'm fine.
hmm yeah, we don't know who that guy was that rolled up in the barbershop. That's another thing. And
He's a
then
cop,
the
but
the
is he
dude,
a
the dude
dirty cop?
Rojas, huh?
Is he a dirty cop? We
Who
don't know.
knows? Well, you know that guy Rojas was like when he gets outside and gets comfortable, then we'll get him. So we
Yeah.
don't know who that guy's.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
don't
one
know.
thing I do know is if you're going after the barber in jail, you can't be trusted. So I got my eye on him. And if it's
Yeah.
one thing Tommy knows how to do is to get captured by a rival drug organization and get brought to the leader. This dude, it happens to him all the time. And he gets brought to Walter Flynn, where Walter Flynn was hitting him with them biblical bars about all the
Yeah.
fires that he started. And by this time, Tommy knows if his life is in danger. And he even tells him, like, yo, you either were
Thank
going
you.
to kill me or, I'm not dead yet.
He
So
says,
you're welcome for saving
"You're
yourself.
welcome." Yeah, that's what got me.
And
He was
brought
like, "You're
him the
welcome."
cash and
Yeah.
brought him the cash that he took. So it was kind of like an offering. So it's one of those moves where Flynn basically tells him, whatever business you have here, like finish it
Dead
and then
it.
go away. Like you don't need to be around here anymore. He's one of those unknown variables that they
Mhm.
respect, but they
Yeah.
can't control. So he got to get out of there because if they
Yeah.
can't control him, they know that he is going to bring a level of volatility to their territory that they don't even want to go with. They're even
But
dealing with like the rivals, like them and the CBIs. It's like a north
right.
side, south side thing going on right now. So it's deep. It's deep.
But the thing about it is, what he doesn't realize is when you tell someone like Tommy, like, leave, you can't stay here, that is actually like influencing them to stay. Like, someone like Tommy is not going to take orders well. People like
Right.
that don't want to hear you tell them what to do. So they're going to be rebellious in nature just off the rip. So you tell him he can't stay, he going to find a way to stay. Like, he's
Well,
going to make a home here.
that's why he hit the U-turn and told Rodolfo to fuck off, and he's gonna make his own way. So Rodolfo might be a name to check in the future. Maybe he comes to Chicago looking for Tommy. Who knows? But he told him to fuck off, toss the phone, and
Got rid
now
of the
he's
power
going to
phone.
make his own way in Chicago. So I think those are some good character profiles that you got so far. Gloria Olenbar, Diamond and Jannard, the Flynn family, JP. I think they have a solid cast, and we haven't seen
Mhm.
all the characters yet because we get like character profiles from stars of everybody going on. And I saw a few names that we haven't seen yet, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I think yeah, I saw a lot of I've been reading what people thought about the show. If you felt like it was too slow,
What did
I
you
think that
expect though?
it makes sense. I think
But
it
it's an
makes sense.
intro. Like, you can't expect, it's not like this is power, a continuation. This is Tommy building his own empire. It's going to
Right.
require us to meet all new characters. There's nobody coming from the power universe here but Tommy. So you got to give them at least 3 episodes to get all these in pieces, in storylines in, and let Tommy take off with it. Like I've always said, a new show, give it 3 episodes before you start saying, oh, it's trash, or oh, I can't ride with it. Like, it's the first episode and they have to really piece everything together. Like, Raising Kanan was its own show. We got all new characters that let Tommy, give him time. Give him time to take it and run with it. I say give
Right.
it at least 3 episodes
And
before
and
you
I think
judge.
I think they have more leeway to start Force slower because everybody's invested in the main character. They're
Yep.
so invested that really, I'm telling you, people got from Tommy what they wanted out of the first out of it. You got the whole Tommy experience in one episode, so that we're getting it, and we're probably gonna see more growth in his character too. That we're getting it throughout a whole series. I think it's something to be excited about, and I do understand why some folks will say, like, the pacing or whatever. I think the pacing was fine. It's just you expected explosions and all out war.
Yeah.
He's coming into a territory he's not familiar with, and
Yeah.
he's actually making shit turbulent now.
Yeah.
He's the one that's bringing the turbulence because everything was running smoothly. So he's throwing that one lot of chaos into a whole lottery ball or lottery ping pong ball worth of trouble, right? So the fact that he's creating chaos, I think is something that we all like locked in. And for what it's worth, Jordan, I see you. Yeah, like Raising Canaan, I think they had to come out the box the way they did to grab people
Mhm.
because you didn't know what you was
We didn't
expecting.
know.
And
Yeah.
I think the fact that they were playing on nostalgia with like the 90s era,
Yeah.
people were locked in. You were locked in, whether off jump. Once they started playing the old music, you saw the styles and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You were locked in from jump. So that's just what it was. So I think you were. I think that's something that was grabbing, but this one grabbed people because of Tommy, right? Like
Tommy.
it was what it's gonna be. And I think you have a lot of interesting characters in both sides of Chicago. I would love to hear what Chicago folks from Chicago think about it and where
I
it
do
can go.
too.
But you have a lot to play with. So
Yeah.
overall, I think it's dope. I think it's fresh. I think it's enough to keep you intrigued for weeks to come. And yeah, I'm excited for more.
I am too. Bring it. You know what I mean? Even at midnight on a Sunday, I am very excited for everything that will come in the future. But I think Tommy's
Exactly.
going to do well. I do think the show will do well when you have a heavy hitter, like Flynn in a cast. I think Tommy Flanagan. There's no way that the show can be trash. So I think just give it time. Let Tommy get comfortable. It's gonna give you everything that you love about Tommy in a show. So I'm excited for where it's gonna go. I really am.
Exactly, exactly. Well, that does it for us. It was the double recap. Thank you so much for everybody who tapped in. Go to our comment section. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Take it to the
Yes.
comment section of the video, and those of you watching everywhere, afterwards. If you were with us live today, let us know what you thought. If you want us to do it after the shows, if you like us doing it for special events, stick it with Mondays. Give us all the feedback because this is the first time we've done it live right after the show. And y'all came in force, no pun
Y'all were
intended. Y'all
ready.
did y'all thing. So shout out to y'all. All right. So real quick, alrighty then. I'm gonna get you up here because you say you're from Chicago. I'm a Chicagoan, and they focus more on the north side, white side of Chicago, and they're not using the slang we use every day. Okay, that's great perspective, and that might be
Yeah.
something that we may see tap in as we learn more about the CBI and all of them like that. So that's great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. But yeah, we locked into the double feature. Y'all came out. Y'all showed out. Thank you so
Woo.
much for the love. That's a wrap on Ghost
Yes.
season 2, and we keeping the party going with Force season 1,
One.
right? So we gonna rock out. We gonna rock out. I know this is a little bit late. We all gonna be a little struggling tomorrow, but it's good when we have fun. So before we get out of here, Chrissy, where can they find you on the social?
You can find me everywhere at Chrissy B. Davis. What about you, Jeff?
Jeff J says on all social, Power After Hours Twitter, Power After Hours IG, Power After Hours on YouTube. Tell a friend and tell a friend about our show. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You get the notifications when we go live. Bring a friend or two with you next time so that they could join the Power Party. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all, as always, y'all do y'all thing. Thank you for all the super chats that we received. Shout out to everybody listening on audio. You got 2 hours of power, and I'll have the time codes in there for you if you want to pace yourself and listen to the show, so you can get that in the show notes. And for you watching afterwards, much love to you. Thank you for tapping in. Get in the comment section because we're gonna be checking that after the show as well. So that is it for us. Next Monday, we're back with episode 2 of Force. Tommy Tom is here. Y'all gotta be
Yay.
happy. You're gonna be hyped. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
Peace.